Hello everyone, my name is Kate Marshall. The name of my channel is called Inked Paper Art. Today is day 18 of 365 days of junk journal ideas. I have been making clusters. If you joined me last night for the live on my channel, I made a bunch of clusters. Today I'm going to make a cluster, but it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to be stamping our focal point on today, and we're just going to make a couple of quick clusters. I'll talk about how to use clusters, what clusters are, some ideas for supplies quickly. So basically a cluster is a collection of a bunch of small elements that you can collage together to make kind of a little tuck or a piece that you later can go into your junk journal, and you can, add this to a pocket or add this to a page to embellish it. So these are some of the ones that we made last night. If you weren't able to join on the live, I do a Friday night craft with me live every Friday on my channel. And so this is a really large one for a page decoration. There's little small ones, some for nature journals. So basically the way these would work is you would take it and you could tuck it onto the edge of a page like this, and then you would be able to create a tuck this way. You could decorate a pocket. There's many different ways of using it. You could put it up here in the top corner and it would be a top tuck. Many different ways of using a tuck, or a cluster. And so I'm going to go ahead and make some clusters today with you guys here, different ones than these. These ones were all done with just collaging a bunch of different elements. So today we're going to make one that has a stamped focal point, and I'm going to start out with trash. So if you have any type of packaging paper, any kind of, Amazon packing paper, old envelopes you get in the mail, a paper bag like this, any type of trash, that's where I'm going to start today. So I'm just going to take my Amazon packaging and tear it into a nice piece. Doesn't really matter, what kind of shape you get there. And then I'm going to start with one of these as well and just tear it. I would like torn edges on it. So I'm just going to tear around to give myself that perfect little torn edge. And then I want to stamp on some of these pieces. So we've torn that guy. I'll save this one. Tear down that side. So these ones, different kind of look than what I did last night during my live. I have all these supplies out here on my desk, so we might as well keep going with it. So then this is it's a bag. It's not really an old advertisement. It looks like it has old advertisements on it, but it's just a reproduction little bag, right? So I'm just going to cut out one of these. I'm going to leave that little rough edge up there. And then let's go ahead and cut out this guy, this really long one here. And again, I'm not being too fussy with it. I'm not trying to be too fussy with it anyway, but we're just making little clusters. And so there's some trash that I'm kind of recycling here. I also have Braille, and I have dictionary, and I have ledger, and I have music, and all other things over here. The next thing I want to do is I want to take a piece of regular, this is just copy paper, and I'm going to stamp some little images on there. I'm going to use the Scorched Timber today. It's a mix. If you're not familiar with Scorched Timber Distress ink, it's a mixture of brown and black, and I really like it. I think that it is the perfect shade of vintage black ink, because black ink over time, ancient black ink from hundreds of years ago, it gets a brown tinge to it. It's not actually black anymore. And so I'm just stamping a couple images, and I need to stamp one more time. And so here we go. This is a brand new stamp, and I've just inked it for the first time there. Let's stamp it again, see if we get a better one. I'm hoping to get one where I've got a whole image. All right, that's much, much better. All right, so then I'm going to stamp one more other image. Pull that one off, and we'll put this guy on. So these images come from the Tim Holtz little stamp sets that you could buy at like Joann's, and it used to have a stencil with it. I don't know where the stencil is, or I would show it to you, but they were stamp and stencil sets. And so if you were looking for these little mushrooms, I don't know, I imagine they're probably available in some other stamp set, but I don't know what number it is to tell you guys. So I have two pretty good images there. I'm happy with that. The next thing that I want to do on my little images is I want to take a little text stamp. This is just a little bit of like, I don't know, French handwriting or something. And I'm going to stamp that in a different color. I'm going to do a little vintage photo distress oxide. And I'm just going to kind of, you know, I really just want a little kiss of that. I don't even want a whole lot. So I don't care that it's just kind of here, there, and everywhere. So that's good for that one. So you don't have to be too fussy because these are just going to be turned into clusters in the end. It's not like you're stamping a front of a birthday card or something like that. The next thing that you want to do is you want to tear out your image. You want to pull your paper towards you so that you don't get that fuzzy edge. If you want that fuzzy edge, then you pull. So this is the image I want. You push that to the back. So when you pull different directions, when you're fussy tearing around an image, you get different looks. So I want that feathered edge. So I'm pushing the piece that I want to the back and then tearing around it. And so that's going to give me that little fuzzy edge around it. And so again, I want this image here. I'm pushing that image to the back, not trying to tear it out, but kind of like that. There we go. And so just pushing it to the back, or that one's to the forward. There we go. It's a little crooked. I might try to clean that up just a little bit. So you be as fussy as you want to be with your images, but I've got them pretty much there. That's good. And so all these little scraps I can stamp other images on. There we go. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to take our little trash that we created here, and we're just going to create little clusters. I'm just going to layer these images up until I'm happy with them. And so that's pretty good. We're pretty much covering up our whole entire image there. I don't mind covering it up. I really don't. And so I do want it to be a little torn. We've got that there. Just layer it up to where it's appealing to your eye. Don't let clusters stress you out. They're supposed to just be kind of thoughtless. You're just supposed to grab and go pretty much as fast as you can. Like, you know, you're obviously thinking about it a little bit, but don't overthink it, I guess is my point. And so just, you know, keep playing with it until you get, you know, something that you're happy with. So there I've got the little music bit at the top. I really like that. It's just a little bit too much open space there. So I'm going to trim that down. There we go. And I'm really happy with that one. So that's one cluster. And then if I can pick that one up, we'll do another one here. So I just really started with trash, a little bit of text, some kind of image, typography, something. And then I've got this other brown paper back here that I could stick in there too. But for this one, I'm just using Amazon packing paper, and layering that up. And then for this one, let's go ahead and do some dictionary page. So if I can find the right kind of dictionary page here, this one might work. A nice wide dictionary page so that I can have it show from behind like that. That'll work. Okay. So we even have enough space for another smaller image. Let me go ahead and stamp one more small image out just because we're here and we have it. This time I'm going to go ahead and stamp that vintage photo on first. It doesn't really matter. We're not going for perfect stamping here. We're going for kind of a little distressed look anyway. So it doesn't really matter. We're just getting some text back there in the background. And then if I can find my mushroom stamp, we'll be stamping that out. So let's use this little one here. Somewhere. Oh, here it is. I've lost my mushroom. They're clear. I can't see them. Does that happen to you? I don't know. It just happened to me. So I lost my mushroom stamp because it was see-through. And so again, I'm going to stamp in Scorched Timber. And these are brand new, so I'm just really trying to get a lot of ink on there so I can get a good impression. Now, if you're stamping like me and you are stamping onto a hard surface, you will get a much better image if you stamp onto something that gives your stamp a little cushion. So like an old book back there behind it would have been helpful. So this is a different mushroom. All three of them here will have the whole set. And so I'm going to tear this one out. And the tearing, you know, you could cut it. It doesn't really matter. I'm just opting for a torn edge. It's just a different look than what we did earlier in the night. So I've got this one. He needs to be torn down a little bit further there. Just trying to be able to see my background back there. So there we go. We've got that. And then if we poke out some of this typography so we can see it, and then let's put this one on. Let's put this one on some other dictionary. Something like this. That looks pretty good. So there we've got 3 clusters. Now you're okay. They're built, but they're not constructed yet. Here's the little trick that I'm going to show you. You're going to pick up your paper. You're going to take your Tim Holtz attacher. You're going to slide it on, and you're going to put in a couple of staples, keeping your paper straight. Put in a couple of staples. Then take your image, glue your image on. I'm going to use art glitter, and I'm going to cover up my staples. I don't like seeing those staples down there, and I'm not gluing edge to edge. I'm really only gluing in the center because I want my paper to be loose. I don't want it to be 100%, you know, glued down. So it's just, it gives it more of a free look where you can see that someone really did do this collage. It's not completely flat and devoid of any mobility, right? You want it to be able to move a little bit. So there we go. There's that one. And then let's get this one on. So we're going to build 3 clusters with stamped images completely from scratch in less than 15 minutes or thereabouts. And so we just did some stamped image clusters today. Just a little bit different than what we did last night. So there we go. Now, if you don't like this straight edge, you could surely tear that too. So even though our cluster is done, you could go in and edit around that and have a complete torn edge cluster. You don't have to have everything be just kind of squared off and stuff. So here's that one where you've torn it completely around. It's just different aesthetics. You don't have to, you know, one way is not right or wrong. And then from there, you can go in and you can add a little piece of ephemera if you want to add to it. So maybe we'll go ahead and quickly do that. I kind of like this bigger number on that one. And I'll do that one on that one. We might as well. You could ink around your pieces. Ink around each one of your little layers there so that you have something, you know, a little bit more definitive border around each one. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a couple more little things to these, and we're going to call them good. So you're basically just creating a little collage. And the way that we created those is we did it up in the air just by holding the papers in our hand. And it's a little bit different of a technique than when you collage onto paper and you're gluing everything down. So we added some little labels down there. And then somewhere in here, I do have some green stamps. We might add a couple of those in there. These are antique stamps. So let's add this one to this one. Let's see if I can find a couple more quick before we run out of time. I just need a couple more green stamps. So here's another green one. We can use that one. It doesn't have to be green. I would be happy with brown too, but I don't see any. The top of my head. I'm going to go ahead and put this one. Where am I going to put this one? I guess he's going right there because that's where he went. So let me see if I can do one more just to finish all 3 of them off. Oh, yes, right here. Okay, so we're going to get 3 done in 15 minutes if I hurry. The challenge for me in the 15 minutes, it's actually kind of fun. So anyway, we did 3 little clusters. They're going to be perfect for a little nature journal, something like that. And we did them in under 15 minutes with stamped images over the top. Now you could do your stamping nicer than I just did. I was just rushing and getting it done. You do you. But those are really cute, and I so much enjoyed making them. And I'm so thankful that you guys were watching me today, and thank you so much for watching me every day. I really appreciate it. This was day 18 of 365. Come back again tomorrow, and I will have another video for you, a short little 15-minute video for day 19. Thank you so much. Bye.